off, Jovanka. We begin the Tata Steel Masters.
And and there we see on the camera Gukesh making his first move against Anish Giri. He jumps in with his knight and also knight to f6. It was a very quick response from Anish on h1.
Yeah, it's not an h1, Jovanka. He didn't play this move, luckily.
Okay. Okay. I thought, well, Gukesh is known for coming up with unusual ideas, and I was thinking, well, I don't quite see the logic in that one, but okay. Now it castles.
And actually, I think on the bird's eye view, it was shown that the king was on h1, and my eyes were drawn there as well. But yeah, this move here would be very mysterious. Black is threatening to fight for the center. Maybe just a quick recap over the last few moves. We can just show what has happened, because we're only 4 moves in. That's already a big question for Gukesh. He started with the Reti opening, as he did in the World Championship match on a couple of occasions, and after knight f6, no symmetry. Anish occupies the center, and now after castles, white has a big decision to make. If you allow black to take the center, you're basically playing the king's Indian defense, but with colors reversed. So 1 extra tempo for white if you play, for example, pawn to d3 and not fight for space. But if you play pawn to d4, then it's the Grunfeld defense with colors reversed. So it's basically here Gukesh facing a d4 opening, but here he's got this extra tempo because he starts with white. And I'm curious, because I've always just automatically played pawn to d4. I'm a Grunfeld player as black. Here you've got the same position with an extra move, but it leads to very forcing types of positions. And I don't know, if he's not prepared, it's scary to allow the opponent to occupy the center, right?
Yeah, it certainly is. 3 pawns in the middle of the board, black gets all the space, and you do have to know what you're doing, because if you just make some little moves, as in moves that don't challenge black, then black will have very comfortable development and have free control of both sides of the board. So it's decision time for Gukesh. I instinctively would steer away from moves like d3, or instead I would be staking out the claim in the center, because I enjoy my space. I'm very much a classical kind of player. I like to play with pawn in the middle, so does Gukesh. And now we're in your territory, David. I've seen you play this many times.
Yeah, you know me too well, Jovanka. I've played this many times with white and black, but I guess the thing is, you're playing a Grunfeld defense with an extra move. So normally with black, you're trying to play counter-attacking chess, but ultimately you are trying to equalize if you have this position. The fact that you have 1 extra move since you start with white, whether you can fight for an advantage, that is the big question. And now we're actually going to get a transposition to a Catalan opening. And here we go, pawn takes pawn, and we've... talking about smothered mate. White cannot touch this black rook, but after queen takes b2, now he can and should have done. Gukesh, he would have held the balance by playing the very scary looking rook takes f2, allowing the black knight in and just moving the king. Or likewise, if the black queen slides over and captures, then rook to f1. Everything's holding for Gukesh, still dynamically balanced despite the chaos. Instead, Gukesh blundered first. He was the first one to blink and make the mistake h3. Giri found bishop e4, brilliant move. We were praising him, writing off the victory, but the whole idea here is that rook takes bishop, for example, allows rook takes rook, and the black queen gives the kiss of death at the end with a checkmate. And likewise, you cannot touch this bishop in any direction. Bishop takes e4, could also lead to mate with rook to h2, and now multiple ways win, but rook h1 is the prettiest, clearing the path for the queen to deliver checkmate next on h2. After a rook exchange, however, this is where Giri missed his opportunity. He had over 1 minute at this point, but knight to g4 was the only winning move and he didn't find it. This clears the second rank and asks the question. It also defends this bishop, most importantly. Any checks, by the way, just met by king to g7, and white has run out of checks, so this doesn't help. Instead, though, the most beautiful, most instructive variation, the one I think Giri missed, was rook takes bishop, and now you don't give a check on the first rank, because the white bishop blocks, but at first you drum back, you check the king, has to slide into the corner, king f1 is also checkmated, and only now you deliver the killer blow, back rank checkmate, incoming in the next couple of moves. This would have been over Jovanka. Instead, Giri dropped back, allowed a queen exchange, and it's over in the opposite direction. How heartbreaking is this?
It's incredibly heartbreaking, but those lines you just showed us, especially the queen coming back to b6 to give a check, force the white king in the corner, it's just absolutely magnificent. You feel like you're playing great chess. One bad moment. In fact, dare we to see the knight drop back, but ultimately this position is just winning for Gukesh because the d pawn is simply unstoppable. And there we see rook attacking the knight. Once the knight moves, the d pawn will advance. And there we see handshake and a decisive result for Gukesh. An incredible game between these two, all decided in a split second in time trouble.
A game for the ages, a game with so much drama, so many twists and turns, a real roller coaster of emotions for both players. And you can see here Anish Giri pointing out what he should have done. I think Gukesh, trying to find a defense here for white, but ultimately Gukesh is the one who takes the win, takes the points, and has started his reign as world champion with a victory.